everybody, how are you today? I'm Shelly Palmer, and this is Web3 Wednesday. I see there's a whole bunch of you here right now, so welcome. Please enter your questions in chat because it's an Ask Me Anything Wednesday. Of course, you can tell everybody who you are, introduce yourself, and tell everybody what you do because chat is robust and where it's at. Joey is standing by to take any of your questions and enter them into our system so we can put them up on the screen. But hello, everybody. I'm glad you're all here today, and thank you so much for being here. Oh, I'm glad I sound good, too. Thank you. That's excellent. Getting some text messages, which is fantastic. So, look, we have had a kind of a busy week this past week. There's been a lot going on. I've been on TV a lot more than usual. Some CNN, News Nation, Fox 5, where I always am. So it's been a very busy TV week. Oh, and I've done several BBM Chicago noon news hours this week, all about, wait for it, conversational AI. Everybody wants to talk about ChatGPT all the time, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. I want to talk about, just for 1 second, I want to talk about Amazon because they are set to launch their NFT marketplace next month. Now, it's almost unimaginable in the crypto winter that one of the largest companies in the universe is getting ready, seriously getting ready to launch an NFT project. It's stunning and wonderful. And I think, you know, if we can harken back to a time when NFTs actually meant something, you know, you'd kind of say, well, okay, yeah, you know, NFTs, that makes sense. Guess what? They still do. And they're going to really make sense with what Amazon is doing. First of all, they'll be using them to attach to physical merchandise as well. You'll have fraud prevention. You will have digital twins of your physical merchandise. There's going to be ways to create digital collectibles and buy and sell them. I am really excited about what Amazon is planning, and I literally can't wait to see it. It's about time. All the get-rich-quick people are sort of gone. Everybody's, you know, who was here to scam you is, I mean, there are still some scammers out there. I still get a fair number of Twitter messages every day that where I'm attached to it, at Shelly Palmer is attached to it, and you know the account has 0 followers and is following nobody, and it's got a whole list of people, and they're pushing some kind of airdrop or something. So we still see some of the scammers out there, but for the most part, the get-rich-quick guys are gone, and that is the best possible news. So speaking of things that are awesome and definitely not a scam, you can get your POAP for today, March 8th, by going to shellypalmer.com/POAP and filling in the form. Please put today's date in there and where it asks for it. And anything that lets us know that you're not a scammer, that would be awesome. But of course, you can also ask questions there. What is a POAP, you're asking me? Well, a POAP is a proof of attendance protocol token. It's an NFT. These are absolutely no cost to you at all. You can get them, you know, trade them with your friends, but you don't need a digital wallet. You can just use your email address, or if you feel like it, you can put it in a digital wallet. You can mint them, or you can just let them sit there. Please, 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 though, if you collect 5, you will be eligible to do all kinds of super fun stuff. We have salons going, and we have online events going all the time, and our POAP VIPs are invited. So if you are interested in attending some of the super secret handshake sessions, when you get the email that has the POAP link in it, click the link and actually mint the POAP. Whether you mint it to your digital wallet or mint it to your email address doesn't matter. But just getting the email is not the same as getting the POAP. So please don't forget to actually do that. That would be super fun. All right, moving on. Oh yeah. Yeah, let's see. So someone just asked in chat what I feel about the 60 Minutes thing that was this week, and I was going to actually open with that. I don't watch 60 Minutes on a regular basis. In fact, I never watch it anymore because I think it's junk journalism, and I've always thought it was junk journalism since Don Hewitt passed away. May he rest in peace. He was a genius. He was an incredible producer. He was the voice of reason and the visionary behind 60 Minutes, but he's been gone a long time, and 60 Minutes is just kind of, I don't know what it is. Leslie Stahl did this piece about conversational AI, about ChatGPT, and also about GPT-3 and the integration into Microsoft. I have to tell you, I was furious. I was literally furious. I wanted to throw something at the TV set, and I wasn't watching it in real time. I was watching it on YouTube. YouTube's recommendation engine threw it up there, and about half a dozen people said, "Did you see the piece?" And I was like, "No, I haven't seen it." Well, now I have. And I want to tell you something. What a wasted opportunity. What an incredibly wasted opportunity to educate everyone and to raise the level of discourse about this. Yes, ChatGPT, GPT-3, GPT 3.5, conversational AI writ large, Lambda, Llama, all of the large language models, you can force them all with very little effort into spewing total and complete absolute nonsense. This isn't hard to do. You can use a Dan model. You can just go in there and just make it do weird stuff. If you ask the wrong question, you're guaranteed to get the wrong answer. You can make this thing think it's a terrorist. You can make it do anything you want to make it do. And they will try and play whack-a-mole with the output. But if you're asking it crazy questions or you're trying to engage it in something that's a conversation you'd have with a person, you're going to get weird answers. Now, I want to talk about this for one quick second because I think this is important. I think a lot of you have probably seen Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. I think you have. And you know that in that world, the physics are different from in our world. Wile E. Coyote runs off the cliff and he's hanging in midair and he has a chance to look back at the Roadrunner. And maybe there's some musical embellishment to what happens. And then the coyote falls. That is not what happens in our world. We don't get that. In our world, a coyote runs off the cliff. It follows a very specific set of physical laws. And it falls to the bottom and it doesn't leave a hole. The coyote doesn't leave a hole that's shaped like itself in the ground and then come out of the hole like it does in the cartoon. It splatters into kind of a mess depending on when and if it reaches terminal velocity from the height. And that's it. It's gone. So why does the Roadrunner cartoon have its own physics? Why is this important? Dust doesn't look that way. The sky doesn't look that way. Because we are to suspend our disbelief. We are to know we are in a cartoon universe. We are to know that the physics are cartoon-like. And this is really important. When you go to play a video game where there's a bang-em-up, shoot-em-up, and they could make every single person in that game 100% photorealistic for years. This is Unreal Engine's metahumans. These are not people. This is video animated completely from the mind of nothing, totally created out of nowhere, metahumans. You can go see a primitive version of this at a website called thispersondoesnotexist.com. These are not people. But could you imagine if I had the physics set up like our regular world, the world I live in, where I clap my hands and they move at a certain rate, or I throw something up in the air and it comes down at a specific rate? Like, could you imagine if I cut somebody in half that was totally photorealistic, totally realistic, with a machine gun? You'd lose your lunch. I mean, that's not what the average person wants to see. And so they have this concept called the uncanny valley, where you go kind of just to the place where you're not quite sure what you're seeing, and you're not quite sure what is, and you're not quite sure what isn't. Conversational AI is designed to trick you into believing 100% that you are talking to a person. Think about that for a second. We don't have cartoon physics in this world. We don't have Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner doing this. We don't. We've got metahumans doing this, and in fact, they've gone out of their way. They've gone out of their way to make you believe that you are talking to a person. So, of course, it scares the living daylights out of anyone who doesn't know what they're dealing with. It's a mistake, perhaps, or maybe it isn't. But one way or the other, the physics that they have invented, and I'm using that metaphorically, are our physics. Bob K says, as bad as Stahl's questions were, Microsoft responses and comments were worse by not clarifying and explaining how chat works. Yes, Bob K. Microsoft did not do itself any favors, but then in their defense, and this is important, the 60 Minutes producers chose what clips they were going to use in the piece. So they had complete editorial control. Microsoft had none. So we don't know whether it was properly explained and then excluded. My suspicion is that that doesn't make good television. Oh, wait, rhyme and reason, some sober answer, some educational answer. Here's the thing. Conversational AI works in the following way. It reads large amounts of data, corpuses that are huge, like the whole internet, for example. And it scores what it believes the next word ought to be. It doesn't know what word. It doesn't know the paragraph. It doesn't know the sentence. It doesn't know the context. It doesn't know what you're asking about. It doesn't know what it's talking about. It doesn't know anything. It's not a human. It's not a brain. It knows nothing. It calculates what it believes the next best word ought to be, and it puts the next best word down. Sometimes it gets it right, and sometimes it doesn't. The way it learns is called reinforcement learning. There's a reinforcement loop. When it does it right, you tap it on the head, you give it a treat, and you say, good computer. When it does it wrong, you rub its nose at it, and you say, bad computer. And that's how it works. And I know that's oversimplified, but it should be that simple for people to understand. It's not a person. If you try to talk to it about metaphysics, if you try to talk about love and life, the best way to think about this, when you go to the doctor and the doctor diagnoses you with some illness you have not heard of or don't know about well, or you want to know more about, you know you shouldn't, but you go home and you type those words into a Google search. Now, everybody listening to me right now knows, because you're all smart and you've all been using Google since Google started, you are not going to see the best answer to your query. You're going to see the answer with the best SEO. That is a non-trivial difference. So when you type in some weird disease that the doctor says you may have, or some illness you need to research, you're not seeing the best answer because you don't know how to search for it properly. You put the name of the illness in and whatever little extra bits that you could think that made sense. What you're seeing is the answer that has the best SEO. That is not the best answer. Large language models have read the internet. The internet is filled with nonsense. It's filled with popular nonsense. Very popular nonsense. The Eskimos have 27 words for snow. They don't. They got one word for snow. It's snow. But that little mythological tidbit has been out for there in the universe forever. You hear it in bars all the time. Whenever you bring up the word snow and Eskimos, you hear this nonsense. The Great Wall of China is the only man-made object you can see from space. No, it's not. You can see the Hoover Dam. You can see the pyramids of Giza. You can see all kinds of stuff from space. And depending on how high up in space you are, you might see nothing. And if you're low enough in orbit, you'll see more. It's like, come on, really? And yet that silly little narrative is all over the internet. So the best narrative wins. The best story wins. The most popular narrative wins in conversational AI. The same way the best SEO wins in Google. You got more links back to your site of nonsense filled with nonsense, then that's the nonsense that people are going to see. So what do you need to do? What's required? Well, there are a couple things you need to do that I think are really important. My friend Barak Turovsky has this wonderful task matrix, and I drew it here differently than he drew it. High stakes are obvious, low stakes are obvious, right? It's like, how important is it? You could put high importance, low importance. I just like the word stakes the way he used it. And Barak used to lead Google. He was a project lead at Google Translate at Google AI, which is really one of the largest AI models in the world, and the beginning of all the things that we're dealing with right now started at Google right there. So then you can see the other axis. They've got he's written high fluency and high accuracy. Fluency is just what you think it is. It's how verbose, how fluent is this model going to be, and then accuracy is just what you think it is, how accurate. So down and to the left, low stakes and high fluency is a birthday poem for your friend. That is low stakes. Nothing could be lower stakes. If it gets it right, all you're really asking for it to do is rhyme. You'll fix any words that are inappropriate. You'll tell it what you want. It's just going to work out fine. Up and to the right, high stakes, high accuracy. If you're making an investment in a company and you're going to spend real dollars, then that's high stakes and you need high accuracy. That might not be the right task for conversational AI. So where does your task fall into this matrix? That's an important thing to understand before you start relying on conversational AI to do your work. It's not necessarily going to do it. This is the stuff that I really wish they had put in this story, because they did no one any good by just saying, oh, well, it's inaccurate and it's always going to be inaccurate. Yeah, there are things about it that are going to be inaccurate forever because there's a lot of misinformation in the world. A lot. Will it ever be accurate enough to rely on for high stakes, high accuracy? I don't know. I doubt it. You might be able to have a private model that did that. That's entirely possible, where you built your own model and it sat on top of the large language model. So the heavy lifting of learning how to interpret language was done by the large language model, and then you train a specialized model to do the work, and you build specialized applications to use the part of the large language model that makes sense to you and use your own model to do the rest. Absolutely. That's a probable future, not a possible future. That is a probable future, and I can imagine it. So it's, look, this week it was crazy too, because we had, these calls to ban generative AI. And I just wrote this little article earlier in the week. It's like the dark side of generative AI. We have to ban it now. But the reason I wrote this particular blog post isn't that I believe that. I don't. It's that Piazzo, the company that does the tabletop role-playing games, Pathfinder and Starfinder, they banned anything that is AI-assisted or AI-created, images or text, from their role-playing games. Like, no, can't do it. Wow, that sucks. Because you can do a lot of cool brainstorming with these tools, and you can do a lot of really interesting stuff. And you can play a game where you seed a question, or you seed a character, or you talk a little bit about what you want, and it can help you complete the story. We all played that game sitting around the campfire as kids, and you can do that with conversational AI, and in a low stakes environment like a role playing game. I don't know why they would do that. And Apple, for a minute, they blocked a thing called Blue Mail, but they did it for a different reason. The reason that Apple blocked Blue Mail is they were afraid that it should have a 17 and older rating for the app, as opposed to the fact that just let it be there, or let anyone 13 and older get to it. I don't know how I feel about this, but I don't feel good about it. I kind of do know how I feel about it. Banning these tools doesn't help. By definition, it can't. It just can't. And so, look, if companies' responses to this is to stick their head in the sand or say no, I think they're on the wrong side of history. And the reason I think they're on the wrong side of history, and again, one man's opinion, is that we have a lot of apps coming, and we got a lot of apps coming soon. This week was a big week at OpenAI. They put the metered versions of GPT-3, actually 3.5, and the metered versions of Whisper, which is their speech and text tool. Guys, now I can literally add GPT 3.5 and text-to-speech, speech-to-text at a very high level to every single app that I would want to make and just pay for my usage. The speech-to-text thing is a big deal because Whisper will listen to whatever you've got, and it will give you a transcript, and then you can use GPT-3 to summarize. You can use it to understand the words that are being said in a way that makes them actionable. So while it doesn't understand the words the way you and I understand the words, for it to create a summary, for it to create bullet points, for it to help you make a PowerPoint from the action items, or just a list of action items, and then send an email. Like, there are so many things you can do when you have direct access to GPT 3.5 and direct access to Whisper. You can ban this all you want, but people who are going to get their hands on it are going to start to use it, and this is going to get used in every company in the world. There isn't a place in any corporate environment where you're not looking for the extra productivity that this will give you. And no, you're not going to ask it, if it'll be your boyfriend or girlfriend, or if it'll hang out with you, or if it wants to get high, or if it wants to go to a concert. If you ask it those questions, you're going to get nonsense answers or weird answers, of course. But if you feed it the transcript from your Zoom or Teams meeting, and it analyzes that meeting and gives you the salient points, and then saves you 45 minutes to an hour in summaries, and bangs out the emails and sends it to everybody who is in the meeting, checks the calendar, looks at the availability for the next meeting for everybody. That's where this is all going to work. I always ask, and you guys never do it, I'm going to ask again, tweet at Shelly Palmer. Just take a screenshot, say something nice, just do something. I don't care. We just don't get enough love from you guys on Twitter. That's my little plea. Okay. DuckDuckGo, not to be outdone. The world is integrations. Integrations is the world. By the way, please put your questions in chat. I would love to have your questions. DuckDuckGo announced this morning that, or at least I read about it this morning, that they're going to search Wikipedia on certain pages. When you go search things in DuckDuckGo, it's going to go grab some stuff out of Wikipedia, and it's going to be used to feed the summary capability of the AI that they're going to deploy. I think that's really interesting. We're going to see a lot of integrations now, and they've kind of exploded. I'm going to show you something that I thought was really cool. See if I can grab it real fast. You guys know that I have a book out. I'm not too bashful about that. This is the book, Blockchain. Don't worry about it. It's an Amazon bestseller. A lot of people have bought it. That's great. Here's the thing. Here's the listing right here. I'm just taking the URL and I'm grabbing the URL. And I'm coming over here to a Google Sheet, and I'm just going to go. I don't know if can you guys see this okay? Let me make this a little bigger. Maybe that'll work. I'm going to go to extensions and to add-ons, and I have this add-on I put in this morning called Web Extract Scraper and AI. Hopefully you can see that. I'm just going to launch it, and just for fun, I'm going to have it scrape that page. Here, I'll have it scrape. I probably did that wrong, but I'm just going to have it scrape the I'm going to have it scrape this URL, which I just put in, which is my book. I just want to get, let's say that I was into e-commerce, and I wanted to go scrape the web and find the pricing of my product everywhere. So now what this is doing is it's basically scraping the page and analyzing everything. Now, there's been scrapers before. There are plenty of scrapers out there. The difference is that this has put this in a form factor that not only is highly usable in a Google Sheet. Oh, thank you very much. It's very usable in a Google Sheet. And you can see this thing, it's done an unbelievable job of grabbing literally everything on the page. Of course, the price is there in field 23, and just every single aspect, every word of this thing has been put in a table, in a database for me to use. There's just a ton of information here. Literally every single field, every single thing on the entire page, every link, everything. So everything I would need to build a very well crafted price monitor and or pricing tool just came out of that one extension, and I thought that was worthy of and it's just one of about 50 integrations we've seen in the last couple weeks. So yeah, super fun to have a look at. We've got a question here. Let's see what this question is. How do you think AI will play out in the 2024 elections? Larry R. Wow. I can think of a couple things instantly. The one that's most unfortunate, and I mean really unfortunate, is that you can, using variables and if you've got a budget with enough tokens, you can generate an ungodly amount of content that looks original. And as best I can tell, Google doesn't care that you used a tool to write this. And the amount of propaganda and bot-generated nonsense that's going to be at a very high level, I think is going to be really problematic over time. So, yeah, that's my take on this. I think they're going to use it to generate a lot of content. It's good for analysis. It's good everywhere. If you take data in a table, you just take data in a table into ChatGPT or GPT-3, a CSV file, and you ask it to analyze, it will analyze for you at a fairly high level the data set that you put into it. It's going to understand the columns. It's going to give you some good ways to think about standard deviation, and it's going to give you a good way to think about trending. And it's going to, even if you don't know anything about math, even if you've never learned about logarithms, even if you've never learned about algorithms, even if you've never learned about how one might search for R squared or regressing a line or a logistical or logical logistical regression, you don't need to know any of that. It will tell you about all of that, and it does it in a pretty sweet way. So I think we're going to empower a lot of people who ordinarily wouldn't have as much firepower. To pen is mightier than the sword. We're going to be giving people an awful lot of capability that I kind of wish they wouldn't have, to tell you the truth. Here's a question. I guess I have some feelings about this. This is from Luke H. Is TikTok going away? Yeah. So I was on CNN last night, and is TikTok going away? So here's the thing. The bipartisan bill, the call to ban TikTok, is absolutely real. This is a bill that's going to get, voted on, and I'm assuming it's going to pass or get close to passing. It's very political, and everybody's fear-mongering about China, and they want to give the president the ability to ban this app because they feel this app is a threat to national security. All right, here's the thing. If TikTok is a threat to national security, then you're going to have to tell me why. Is it the login information? Do we think that TikTok has some capability of extracting information from a phone that no other app has? Are we worried that the people at ByteDance will give the Chinese government information that would leverage their ability to somehow influence you? Because all of that is nonsense. Facebook, Google, Snapchat, Twitter, every website, everyone's dropping cookies. Everybody is taking every ounce of data they can take. Your phone is grabbing, if you're wearing an Apple Watch, 70,000 data points a day are getting to your phone. 70,000. You can turn off your Android phone. You can turn it off and leave it in the car. And when you turn it back on, it still was collecting data when it wasn't powered on. How it does that, nobody knows. But do it, it does. This has been documented 50 times. I actually thought it was a scam till we actually tried it. It's like, I don't know how it knows where it was, but it understands its GPS data. Okay. Now, if the Chinese government, with whom we are in an enduring cyber war, like adversarial, real live, every day, thousands of attacks at everything in America coming out of China. I'm pretty sure we're going the other way too. So we're in an enduring cyber war all over the planet, by the way. It's not just with China, it's with all kinds of bad actors. North Korea, if they're on the sanction list, we're in a cyber war with them. Of that you can be sure. And talk to anybody who's into cybersecurity, they will tell you the same story. And it is vicious, And it's an arms race, and on any given day, someone's ahead of the other. We've got ransomware issues. We've got Trojan issues. We've got all kinds of zero-day issues. You can subscribe to the various newsletters that put up the zero-day warning. Zero-day meaning the first day that something shows up. That's bad for the universe. That's where we're going to get hurt. They're going to grab data. Like when Experian and some of the credit companies got hit for 800 million accounts. You want data that's actionable? Yeah. Last four digits of credit card numbers, last four digits of social, login information, deep knowledge about what you bought, what you own, what leases you have, what loans you have. Well, you think they can't get their hands on that? That's out in the black market. Who knows? It wasn't them that took it in the first place. It's like this is such nonsense. If you really are scared of the Chinese, then you have to be scared of the data that we are getting, that we have no control over, that we have no transparency into. There's a story that I like to tell, and I'm sorry if you've heard it before, but there are certain questions you can't ask in a job interview. You're not allowed to ask. You just aren't. And you need to know them. And if you don't have an in-person interview and you're looking at a resume, what do? Well, in many cases, data, you can't ask where someone lives. You can't ask what their race is, their ethnicity. You can't. It's a whole bunch of things you can't ask. You need proxy data to fill that in. Where do you get it from? Well, a lot of resume reading tools get it from credit reports. Not supposed to, but they do. So let's say grandma got sick and you were busy taking care of her and you missed 2 payments to something. Then you got reported and your credit score went down 200 points. You were at 700 something and now you're at 600 or 500 something. Just 2 payments. You had every good reason in the world. Or let's say that during COVID you lost your job and you missed a payment or 2. But someone uses your credit score as a proxy to fill in data that they don't have about you, and they deny you this job, and you end up in the rejection pile at a company that, for example, reads resumes for 50 or 100 Fortune 500 companies because there's only a few companies that provide resume reading tools. You're blacklisted. There is no feedback loop. You have no idea why you were rejected for the job. You have no way to change it. You have no way to understand the data set that was used. You have no protection and no recourse. There's no one to go see, no redress. That is data hell. That we could be protected from. If someone passed a law today, someone suggested a bill that said, we are going to insist on transparency from every credit reporting organization. We're going to insist on transparency from every company that is electronically reading your resume and using proxy data in order to analyze your qualifications or your suitability for a given job. Show me that regulation. I want to see that right now because people are really getting hurt by this. People are being denied loans and mortgages and abilities to rent or buy cars or jobs. That is the kind of data privacy issue that we are never talking about ever. And all I ever hear is, oh, well, Facebook sold my data, for the... You use Facebook, you put up pictures of your family, you see old friends if you're using it the right way, and they don't charge you. So you have to be paying for it some way. And in this case, you are literally paying with your attention. And the way that they monetize your attention is with your data. So what do they do with the data that they're, quote, stealing from you? They're not stealing it. You're getting a valuable service, and they're getting the ability to surface the right ad in front of you, right place, right time, right person, right ad. That's what they're trying to do. That may sound terrible to you, and you may think that's not an acceptable trade. Then log off of Facebook and never go back. No one's forcing you. It's free. Also, no one's telling you have to be on Facebook or TikTok or Twitter or anybody else. But when I go to apply for a job, no one's telling me that I'm being looked at by a computer, and that computer is using proxy data, and the model that is using the proxy data, I will never know anything about, and I can't know about it, and the people using it don't know about it. They don't even know why they are rejecting me. My resume never gets on their desk because it's pre-sorted into the no pile. That's the data issues we need to be talking about. We need to be talking about that every single day. And if someone wants to stand there and say to me that I'm worried about the Chinese, then worry about the Chinese. You want to worry about cyber warfare? Let's talk cyber warfare. I'm all in. Let's go right now. We want to put up defenses. You want to have special reporting. You want to have ways that we can all be part of the fight. You want to enlist us all as soldiers in the cyber army where we are being vigilant and diligent about how data comes in and what we do with it? Sure. I want to talk about that all day long. You want to try to do some regulation around that? You want to put some rules there? Sounds great. You're telling me you're scared about TikTok? You really want to know what TikTok is good at? And if you want to be scared of TikTok, why you should ban it? And ban is probably not too strong a word. Because it's the most addictive algorithm ever created in the history of the world. You love TikTok, if you're a TikTok user, more than chocolate chip cookies, or in my case, oatmeal raisin cookies, and more than sex. Because it actually makes your brain more excited than anything else you can do. It is 100% tuned to what you love, and it gives you more of it, and it is tuned to give you more of it, and it's programmed to do that over and over and over. And if you believe that our destiny, or the way that the Chinese are coming at us, is they're going to turn us all into those scooter using obese blobs of people in the movie WALL-E, and we're just going to be scootering around on our little scooters and just, staring at a screen and never getting up. Okay, sure, that is dangerous. But that's the danger of TikTok, that it is just so insanely addictive. Twitter's not like that. Facebook's not like that. Snapchat's not like that. They're addictive, but they're not. Instagram has some other issues, by the way. You want to talk about things that need to be banned or looked at hard? I've got real young people, females in America, killing themselves, literally committing suicide, because of the way they've been bullied on Instagram. That's not hypothetical. That's not like an addictive news feed or content feed. This is a tool set that enabled people to bully other people to the point where they took their own lives. How many kids have died this way? I don't have the stats. It's more than one. And one is way too many. So that blood is on the hands of the Congress. You want to pass some laws? Let's go. Let's go. Let's pass some laws. I'm all over it. I'm 100% all over it. All right, here's another question. I'm sorry, that just made my blood boil. I believe that data is the most important thing we have in this century, and it is the story, and it is the conversation, and we never have it. We talk about it on the fringes. We talk about it in when something happens with ransomware. We talk about it when some big hack happens. But it's never the conversation, the nuanced Socratic debate required to come up with an answer. And our elected officials are not paying attention to this because it's too complicated, and no one is going to elect or unelect them because of their data privacy thing. They can go right after TikTok and get everybody all excited, get everybody's knickers in a knot. But they can't have a nuanced conversation about data privacy because you need to scare people, and no one of these incidents is scary enough by itself. It's really sad. Now, what do we have here? How do you wrangle all the infotainment you're exposed to and determine what to focus on? Attention is the currency of our age. Attention is the currency. Attention is so much a currency that it's written into the grammar of our language. You pay attention and you receive attention. It is a currency, and it is one of the most important currencies of the information age. There's hard currency or fiat currency that we use to pay each other. But what are we really fighting for? Attention. And attention is a measure of relevance, We look at the number of likes we get, or we look at the number of views we get. You're looking at popularity. And believe me, popularity has never been a measure of quality, and quality has never been a measure of popularity. These things are not in any way related. But attention is measurable. And so when I am asked about infotainment and what I focus on and how I focus, I read somewhere between 50 and 75 Chrome tabs every morning, so I can put out our daily newsletter, which I hope you'll all subscribe to. And that's important to me, staying informed. I try to read the stuff that falls into three categories: what I need to know for work, the things I'm interested in avocationally, the things that just make me happy and bring me joy, spark joy, because I like to learn about the things I like to learn about. And then I have a few feeds that are completely random, where stuff's just going to pop up that, to be fair, it wouldn't be something I would go look at, but I'm happy to go look at them. And they are exceptionally random for a reason. I want to have some serendipity in my daily life. I just do. It's important to me, because there's no other way to do it. You have to do it mechanically. Just real quickly, if we rebooted medacademy.com. There's 2 courses there, Web3 and the Metaverse. Now that we're talking Amazon, you should go there. That's really fun. They're free, and you get a POAP at the end for completion to mark your completion of the courses. There's 2 of them. One is called Web3 and the Metaverse. That's the new one. And the other one is crypto and NFTs. So you can learn all about this stuff there for free, risk-free, totally free. We just want you to know about it. Don't forget, shellypalmer.com/POAP if you want to get your POAP for today's show. If you collect 5 of them, as you know, good things happen if you collect 5 of them. This is, I just want to leave you with one thought. How we all respond to this new world, the world after conversational AI or generative AI became a consumer product, it's going to be really important. I don't want to overstate it. I don't want to get in the hype cycle. I don't want to be part of this, like, oh my God. Like, no. If you spend 5 minutes just taking something you need to do every day and creating a workflow and process that uses ChatGPT or Notion plus AI, which is GPT-3, or one of the extensions for Chrome or Google Docs that allows you to just call directly to GPT-3 from Google Docs or from Word or from whatever tools you're using. If you do a little automation using tools like Zapier or Zapier, depending on how you pronounce it, with a conversational AI model, and you are unable to save yourself 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, then don't worry about this, because you're not in a place where it's going to change anything for you. But what's going to happen to anybody who works for a living in writing, creating knowledge work, creating spreadsheets, creating tables, or doing any research, writing prose, writing emails, summarizing, I get down the list of 1,000 things that you do every day that you will do 10 times faster using these tools. Every single person is going to be this much better every day at this. Tell me how that doesn't change the world. If everybody who has to do all of this gets just this much better, at the very least, competition's going to get crazy. At the very least. When I share my list of Chrome tabs that I read daily, I will do that. That's really a great idea. I will write a blog post about that, Michael. Thank you for asking. I will absolutely do that. Sometime in the next few weeks, we'll put together a list of the Chrome tabs that we read. Mine probably won't be yours, but at least it'll give you a sense of the depth of my insanity. The ones I read for work, Yeah, I'm happy to do it. Absolutely happy to do it. All right, folks, it is the witching hour. Again, don't forget your POAP. If there's anything you want to know, anything that I can tell you, Shelly at shellypalmer.com. Please, 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 please. One last thing I didn't talk about today that I wanted to talk about just quickly is that we have a resources page, free resources, shellypalmer.com/resources. It's a whole bunch of case studies and free stuff there. Just go there and have a good time. And if you've got suggestions for things we're leaving out or that you'd like us to add to the free resource page, please, let us know. Again, you can find me at Shelly at shellypalmer.com. I'm happy to answer all of your questions, or at least to the best of my ability. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here this week. This is my absolute favorite time of the week. So everyone take care. I will see you next week. Same time, same channel. Take care, everyone.